Behind home plate, we bringing it to them all day. You know what's up? Welcome to Birdland. Win or lose, we bringing it to you always. You know what's up? Welcome to Birdland. Orange or black, we rebuild the pack. No matter where we at, you know we coming back. Section 336, we on this, so tune in. You know what's up? Welcome to Birdland. Yeah, welcome to Birdland. You know what's up? Welcome to Birdland. Now, here come the boys from Section 336.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Baltimore sports fans of all ages, welcome to Section 336, Next Generation of Baltimore Sports Talk. I am your enduring starting host, Matt Soroka. As always, I'm joined by the button lover, Josh Soroka.
Hey, Matt, I thought by skipping last week, we would get out of the frustrated, this is the worst season to be an Orioles fan timeline.
Oh, my. No, well, and we were out of it for one day.
Yeah, even yesterday, you're right. You defeat the Yankees.
We should have did the podcast last night.
We should have. A win against the Yankees puts things into perspective.
Yeah. And we'll take the series tomorrow and things will be back into perspective.
I hope so.
Hey, my son the other day, he came down for breakfast and, you know, I offered him a Pop-Tart. You ever eat Pop-Tarts, Josh?
Not that often, but my kids do.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're not real big Pop-Tarts people. My kids really aren't into them. But I'm into them a little bit. And my son said, "Hey, Dad, you know, which way do you like to eat Pop-Tarts?" And I was like, "What are you talking about? Which way?" He's like, "Do you like to eat them,
the sugar down, the frosting down, or the frosting up?"
No. He was saying, "Do you like to put in the toaster or just eat it out of the bag? Or do you like to eat it frozen?" I said, "Frozen." I said, "What are you talking about frozen?" He's like, "Yeah, that's another way people eat them." I said, "How do you know that?" He said, "It's on the box." I said, "It's on the box." And sure enough, on the box, it says, you know, different ways to enjoy toaster or frozen. I said, "Frozen? I'm going to try that." So that day I put it in the freezer.
Okay.
And then that evening when I got home from work, I busted open the freezer, got out that Pop-Tart. Josh, that Pop-Tart was stinking delicious out of the freezer.
No way.
It totally transformed Pop-Tarts for me. And so now I've been eating Pop-Tarts like every other day. I put one in the freezer, pop it in, I had one a day. Loving the frozen. It almost makes all the losing with the Orioles, it almost counterbalances it with my discovery of frozen Pop-Tarts.
Frozen Pop-Tarts doesn't even make any sense to me.
I would never have thought of it, but it was on the box as a thing that, you know, you could do with it. So I said, I'm going to take you up on this.
What flavor Pop-Tart?
I have the, I don't know, the chocolate. It's chocolate flavored. Is that a flavor?
There is a chocolate flavor. Those aren't bad. I don't mind the chocolate ones, and I.
So it's like a little dessert, a frozen dessert of chocolate icing and chocolate in the inside.
I'm following.
It might be s'mores. No, it's not s'mores. It's just chocolate, I think.
Yeah,
you should. If you have any Pop-Tarts in the house, do me a favor. Pop one in the freezer. And we'll talk about it next week.
We only have the strawberry ones in the house, and I don't like the strawberry ones.
Well, just try frozen. You might even like the strawberry frozen.
I like the cinnamon ones.
Yeah, I prefer. Yeah, I like cinnamon. If I would have my pick,
we sound like those Maryland foodie boys.
Yeah,
the middle school kids who are now like all over TikTok and everything.
I'm unaware of this.
They were guest Mr. Splashes like last week.
Really?
Yeah, and they're like these middle school boys, and they go on. They've got a podcast or a TikTok or something, and they do food reviews. But their food reviews are like, "What's your favorite topping on pizza?" And they're like, "Oh, I like cheese, occasionally pepperoni," and that's as wild as they get. Is the occasional pepperoni.
I don't really understand, but I don't understand half the stuff that's out there now.
I don't know. I just know those guys are popular.
I also like. Isn't there an apple cinnamon one? I like that one too.
I've never had that one.
That's a good one.
Anyway,
so that's about that. That's just I wanted to make sure we did an episode this week so I could share about that frozen Pop-Tart.
Right, that's why. It doesn't matter how bad the Orioles are doing. You got to talk about your Pop-Tart.
Yeah.
Now, the fact that the Orioles have been playing so bad, does it take away anything from your excitement for going up to see some games this weekend?
Oh, Josh, you just look at kind of TikTok, and I had a friend text me yesterday who I hadn't talked to in from Maryland who I haven't talked to in months
Yes.
just about the Orioles. People's spirits are falling faster than Shadir Sanders' stock in the draft. Like it is sad to see. And I was thinking about like I am for this weekend. You've compared Josh going to Camden Yards as being somewhat of a religious experience.
Yes, it's church.
Your pilgrimage back to your Mecca that is Camden Yards.
Yes.
And that's how I feel. That's how I'm feeling about it. I'm going with my son.
And me too.
We haven't been since last year. I am really pumped to be inside Camden Yards. I'm pumped to be there. The losing is annoying, but it takes it takes a little bit, but very little away from my excitement about going back to Baltimore and going to Camden Yards.
No, and that's where I'm at too. I really think, sure, there's things that are frustrating me about the Orioles right now. They're playing bad. It's frustrating. It does not. I've seen lots of bad baseball in Camden Yards. I've gone to lots of games knowing we're probably going to lose. So I think part of why you're seeing this whole like destruction online of like the Oriole fan is that there's many Oriole fans who didn't go through those 14 years of losing. They didn't see losing baseball that often.
Oh, but Josh, it's also different because the expectations.
Differently, it hits way different now because we were supposed to be World Series contenders.
Well, I think it's more than that, Josh. It's not just that we're supposed to be World Series contenders. It's that this team tanked to build with all these top prospects, top farm system, and it's all here now. And what's happening?
They're playing worse than the year they
you go through and we can look at the stats. Look at all these top farm system. Look at Kerstad and Holiday and Gunnar and Adley. Ugly.
It is.
And so my fear is, and we can talk about this on the show, is this a bad start or like just bad? And I think we started asking these questions about these players. Is this a bad start or are they just bad? And
totally.
It can get really dark if we start thinking these players are just bad.
And also, it goes in also that with all the excitement of this season, we were prepared to make excuses for the pitching and to work around bad pitching. And outside of a handful of games, the pitching has not been the problem. The pitching's not great, but we've lost way too many games because the offense cannot hit the ball.
Okay, listen, I'm not going to defend the offense here, but the pitching has been not like statistically, the pitching is the worst pitching staff in the American League. So this idea that they haven't been that bad is not true. Look at the stats; they are bottom of the league.
But the pitching is not why they are losing games. If we look at the scores, yes, tonight the problem is we had that 24-2 loss, we had the 9-0 loss, and now we've got a 12-1 with the bases loaded for the Yankees, so it might get worse. That's going to make your pitching stats and on paper look bad. But all right, those are 3 losses. Set them aside. Then you go back. Oh, and the 7-0 with the Tigers.
Yeah, it's not like we played 162 games here yet either. Okay.
No. But outside of that, when you go back, we lost 3-4 against the Tigers. If our pitching staff holds 4 runs, we should be able to win those games. Before that, we lost to the Nationals 3-4. Before that, we lost to, well, the Reds doesn't count. We lost to there was another one. Okay, the Guardians 6-3. That's a little tougher. That one's on your pitching. But when you look, here's my point. Here's my point.
And I'll share my point once you share your point.
As bad starts as our offense has had, as bad pitching performance, as many times as our pitching performance has given up 6+ runs, there's been more times that our offense has not been able to score 3 runs. That would be my point.
Okay. And I would just come back by saying if you go to MLB.com/Orioles /stats /team /pitching /MLB /ERA question / sort state equal ASC. If you go there and you scroll all the way to the bottom and you go past the Angels and past the Nationals and past the Marlins and past the Rockies who play in the thin air where you hit a pop-up, it's a home run. If you go past all those teams, number 30 in pitching ERA is the Orioles at 5.55.
Yes.
That's worst in all of baseball.
Yes.
Okay, that's all I'm saying.
But that's not my point.
I know that's not your point. It's my point.
My point is when you look at wins and losses. When you look at wins and losses, the offense, I think, has lost more games.
Okay. Yeah, and we can listen. I mean, we can play the offensive game too. If you take out O'Hearn and Mullins and maybe Arias, the next highest batting average outside of those three guys is Jackson Holiday with 237. Just hear the numbers, just batting average. Adley Rutschman, 208. Jordan Westbrook, 217. Heston Kjerstad, 186. Gunnar Henderson, 218. Tyler O'Neill, 215. Brian Mountcastle, 193. Like, what is happening here? Low 200s, high 100s for all these quote unquote great offensive baseball players.
Right.
What is happening, Josh?
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
You have that combined with, I don't even know what I'm watching tonight. I literally am watching the game, and I don't understand what I'm watching. Charlie Morton's pitching? I don't understand that, first of all. I thought he was a starter. But what I also understand is if you just look at this, Josh, here, can you just, let's listen to this.
Yes.
Here is the bottom half of the lineup tonight. Ramon Laureano, Ramon Arias, Emmanuel Rivera, Jorge Mateo, Dylan Carlson. Those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys were 5 of our 9 starters. Laureano, Arias, Rivera, Mateo, Carlson. It's still April, and we're into I don't even understand this lineup, and it's just April. What is happening?
And the problem, you know what else?
There's so many things.
Tonight's lineup looks like a professional lineup. I thought that Sunday's lineup was one of two things. It was Brandon Hyde putting in his resignation letter in the form of a lineup, or it was Brandon Hyde putting up his middle finger to the fan base and saying, I can do whatever I want and I won't get fired. Because that one didn't even look like a major league roster.
I would argue this is not a professional lineup either, I would argue. But
this has highlights of a professional. What I don't understand is
there's a lot of things I don't understand. So go ahead.
And put your best players in the lineup all the time. Like Mateo is not supposed to be an everyday starter. I know we've got guys that are banged up. I know Kowser's hurt. I know Westberg's hurt. But
Sanchez.
Sanchez. Well, I don't count Sanchez. He's a backup. Why has Sanchez got as much time behind the plate as Adley this season? It makes no sense.
He's too much. He got hurt.
Right.
Playing too much. They should rest him some more.
Kjerstad isn't getting the start. You have your starters and you've got your bench players. And according to Brandon Hyde, everybody's starters and you rotate them in. Jackson Holiday should be playing every single game. I don't care if it's a lefty or a righty. You need to give him time to get some rhythm going. Kjerstad, give as much opportunity as you can. Gunnar should be playing in every game. Adley should be in every game.
Assuming they're not banged up.
Right. But it's April. I hope you're not banged up.
Well, I mean, Westbrook just is out. And
but he's on the IL. He's on the IL.
All right, but that's a severe bang up.
Yeah, but Holiday's sitting on the bench watching. Now, today's game is just a weird game also because Kyle Gibson gives up 4 home runs
back to back home runs. Yeah.
He closes out the first inning with 24 pitches, but he faced 10 batters.
He kept that pitch count down.
He kept the pitch count down. Yeah. Pitch count looked good. Problem is the torpedo bats.
I think when they said 6 runs or something, Silas was like, "Why is Kyle Gibson still pitching?"
Because what do you do at that point? It's the first inning.
You don't want to blow up your whole bullpen on the first game of the series or second game of the series.
Now, I will say, outside of hopefully that's just a really bad start for Kyle. And that he can settle. We did see him improve a couple innings in. It's just really bad, really fast.
Yeah. Well, the question becomes, and we already know where Josh is, and Josh and I are on the same page with this, but the question becomes, obviously, this is not one thing, right?
No.
If it was one thing, it would be solvable. But these things are complicated. There's multiple reasons why we're struggling: pitching, offense, coaching. That you can spread the blame out. The question becomes,
Gunnar
how
just hit
much?
a home run. You know what allowed Gunnar to hit a home run?
What's that?
Because he's in the lineup.
Hey, Gunnar plays every day. I don't know what you.
He didn't play on Sunday.
Okay, that was as he had a day off. Besides that, since he's been back,
I think he's had a few, not as many as other guys.
Yeah, they don't really platoon him.
And remember, Gunnar also had the first 2 weeks off.
Yeah, well, he was playing Norfolk. He didn't get any days off. But the question becomes, like, what percentage of blame do you put at these people's feet? And understandably, a lot of people have been coming at Elias. Josh is coming hard at Hyde. I look at it a little bit differently. But Josh, if you were to percentage this out, you think Hyde is the person most to blame for this rough start?
Well, I look at someone has to take the blame. And how do you handle that? And I gave 2 weeks ago, when the wheels started shaking, I said, I'll give Hyde till May 1st. Now,
you lied. You lied to the people because you were about April 25th and you were already off with his head.
Well, I'll tell you this. I'm trying to do more time on TikTok because that's where the kids are. I've made four TikToks in the past 2 weeks.
And the kids love their podcast.
And they've all been about firing Brandon Hyde.
Yeah, you're insane.
Someone's got to take the blame for this. And in my opinion, you have to somehow get this team to wake up. Somehow get this team. Brandon Hyde irritates me simply because of his pitcher management and his post-game conferences. He says the stupidest things for a struggling team to show that Brandon Hyde's track record is that when the stakes are high, his teams suck. Brandon Hyde is a very good manager for a rebuild, but when you get your team in the playoffs, you get swept 2 years in a row.
Well, Josh, it looks like
expectations, you play like crap. There's lineup. Now, here's the thing. There's lineup constructions that make no sense. He pulls pitchers at 4 2/3 innings every single day. Those are my issues. Then, when the media asks him after the game about a tough loss, he says, well, we played good today. We just didn't get the win. It's like, no, you did not. You haven't played good.
We competed. They're up there. They're competing up there, Josh.
Then you ask him after the 24-2 loss, and you say, how do you get your team to go on this? You got an off day tomorrow. What are you going to say to your team? And he doesn't. He says, I'm going to talk to the coaches, and they'll remind the players how good they are. The head coach, your manager, is passing that duty on to everyone else. That tells me that he has lost the clubhouse. What did the Orioles do pregame yesterday before they finally got a win against the Yankees?
Huddle up, team meeting.
Players only meeting.
Those meetings are normal parts of all sports, but okay.
Yes, but it's another thing with everything else going on that I believe that he does not have the confidence of his players. No player has came out and said this. Maybe I should try to call Chris Davis on the line and find out why he tried to fight Brandon Hyde in the dugout many years ago. But he is a yes man to Mike Elias. And that's why he has this job. And that's good for the rebuild. But you need a manager now that can teach a team how to fight, to teach a team how to come out of a slump, to teach a team how to build confidence. Nothing that he does shows confidence. The other day, when the Orioles were losing, they asked him about it, and he said, I just wanted the game to end. That's ridiculous for a manager to say, that I just wanted it to end, not trying to motivate his team to win, not trying to say, hey, guys, we got this. Let's go. We can come back. We can turn this around. He said mid-game, I just want this game to end. That is not a leader, and that is not the leader that a team of young men, we've talked many times about how there's no great, who's the leader, clubhouse leader, who's the player leader on this team, because Cedric's not very outspoken and everyone's young. Well, you can't give a manager then that can't be a leader and put him up there and expect him to be this leader where he's not. And again, we lost 24-2. We're supposed to be World Series contenders. Then later that week, we lose 9-2. Then we lose 7-0. Then tonight, the score is 13-2, and it's only the 7th inning. Brandon Hyde is not the right guy. You need to make a statement as a team. When we were kids and the Orioles were 0-21, they fired Senior.
They fired a Cal Ripken. Yeah.
We still talk about the Oriole way, which was crafted by Senior. Everything the Orioles did in the 80s and 90s was designed around his philosophy. But he still got fired because he was not the right leader for that team. You have to let a head roll. It's got to be Brandon Hyde, and you are in a good position because you've got Buck Britton, who's been groomed for years to be your next manager, who has the trust of the players, who coached them through AA and AAA, and these young guys. So if we want to have this discussion of, hey, maybe our players just suck, that's a fine discussion. But sometimes they need a little motivation. Maybe sometimes they need a little, knock this guy out, put up the guy we like, put up the guy that knows us, that got the best of us, that got us to championships in Bowie, and let's see what this team can do. Because it is the end of April, and we are an embarrassment of a baseball team.
You feel good about that, Josh? Feel good to go? Josh, we have 2 weeks to get all that off his chest. You feel good about that?
No, I did a Birdland today, yesterday, basically complaining about the same thing. Because I had to get it off. I go on the Michael Mara show, and they're like, what do you want to talk about? And I look at my notes, and I say, the top thing on my notes is I hate the Orioles. That they drive me crazy this year. And that I want Brandon Hyde to be fired. It's not even a sports talk show, and I still have to let everyone know that I want Brandon Hyde gone. He is not a leader.
Okay, yeah. This is obviously, I don't know if he offended you or did something personal to offend you.
No, I gave you all the facts. I gave you all the proof.
It is like
what I don't like. It's his leadership. It's his post-game comments. It is his lack of calling out players.
Yeah. This is like
and pitcher management.
When they go ahead. Okay.
He does not go out there and argue when he should argue. He does not show that he's got the back of his players.
Okay. Are you done now or something else?
No, I'm done until you tell me that I'm wrong, because I'm not wrong with this.
This is like when a sibling brings home a girlfriend or a boyfriend, and you really don't like the girlfriend or boyfriend, but your sister brothers act like they're all in love, so everyone pretends to like the other guy until the boyfriend or girlfriend wrongs the sibling, and then all the truth comes out, how much you didn't like this guy to begin with. Maybe, and that's, I feel like for you, Josh, you never liked Brandon Hyde, and now this is an excuse and a reason, a rough opening month, one bad month of baseball, and Josh is ready to crush the guy because you never liked him to begin with. Admit it. But never liked Brandon Hyde.
Of course not. But I have not been hiding that like your analogy. I have made it very clear on this podcast. At the end of every season, we get swept in the playoffs. I say, Brandon Hyde's got to go. We get swept in the playoffs, and they say, oh, no, you can't do it. It's manager of the year because he wasn't supposed to make the playoffs. Swept in the playoffs, I yell for him to get fired. Next year, swept in the playoffs, I yell for him to get fired. And here we are again. He needs to be fired. How many lives does this guy have?
Well, I mean, his tenure in Baltimore now is actually pretty impressive for a manager. I mean, he's been here since 2019. So we're on year 6.
He was not supposed to be here this long. The stupid manager of the year bought him new life.
Well, when you win the AL East 2 years ago, it doesn't hurt. Yeah,
I know. It unfortunately, it's why he's here, because he was supposed to be the manager for the rebuild, and then we give it to a real guy a guy that knows how to win a championship. Brandon Hyde is not that guy. He will never be that guy, and he needs to be fired.
Well,
or this team is going to end up at the bottom of the AL East this year.
Yeah, and I'm not ready to fire Brandon Hyde quite yet, but in your
we'll talk next week.
In your defense too, in terms of managerial experience and leadership, well, Buck Britton doesn't have any, but manager Hyde was not a manager prior to this. I mean, he was a bench coach, and he was on benches for a while, but he was not the head guy.
Buck was in Bowie and in Norfolk, and those teams won championships.
That's fine.
At least Bowie did.
Josh, but one point about Buck, does it raise concerns that he'll always be the second best Buck manager in Baltimore? And also another point, though.
No, because you get Buck Britton in there, and we're back on pace for the World Series. You win the World Series, you're the number one Buck.
Yeah, here's what's so flawed with your thinking, borderline insane. It's not manager Hyde's fault, and we can get to the injuries, but it's not manager Hyde's fault about the injuries. And if you put Buck Britton in control now, Josh, you're putting him in control of a ship that is, I'm not going to go as far as to say sinking, but has some serious holes in it.
Yes, look.
And you're not, I don't know if you might be setting Buck Britton up to struggle. And so why not wait and give them a cleaner slate when you have some guys coming back that are healthier, when things are in a better position, then hand it over to Buck?
Because right now, I'll stick with your ship analogy.
Yeah, we got some holes.
This ship has some holes. It is sinking. We got to get rid of some dead weight. And sorry, you're the useless one that's not helping. If anything, Brandon Hyde, you're the one going around kicking the walls to see how strong they are and happen to make more holes in the boat. We got to toss you out. Buck, you're the guy. Take charge. Fix this. Get the guys around here to patch, because you may not be the next in line to be the captain, but you're the guy that all these crewmen know and all these crewmen trust, and you're the guy that can stand up and I'm trying to think of a boat analogy, but when you go up there and stand up there and talk to your people, they'll all get excited and do what you say. Right now, everyone's second guessing Brandon Hyde.
Yeah. No, I get your point. I was hoping you could throw out some port or starboard or stern words in there, but we can save that for later.
I was trying to think of some movie scene where like some guy stands up and tries to take lead, and everyone gets all excited and goes on board, but I couldn't think of a boat one.
Okay. You have a favorite boat movie, storm movie?
A boat movie.
Maybe what's the Tom Hanks one? I Am the Captain Now. I never saw that one, but
exactly.
That's popular.
I would like.
What's the one with Russell Crowe? Isn't there one with Russell Crowe, Commander of the Sea? Isn't that
Commander of the
Sea?
Perfect Storm was pretty good one.
Okay, Perfect Storm.
Some might say we're more on a pace of the Titanic right now.
Well, yeah, that's what it's looking like so far.
But yes, in this post game show today,
Josh taking notes of everything Hyde says.
Brandon Hyde's going to say something stupid, and Buck Britton needs to go flip the table over and say, "I'm the captain now."
Yeah,
and take over.
Yeah. Let me ask you a stupid question. Let me ask you a stupid question, because I like stupid answers. And I'm going to throw Josh the stupid questions. He's going to give me a stupid answer. Josh, if the start of the season Buck Britton was managing this team, what would our record be if Buck Britton was managing this team compared to
what's our record right now? Right now we are 11-17.
Yeah, 11-17.
So I'll play along with your game. 28-0. We would be 28-0 with Buck Britton.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So in terms of percentage of responsibility, you think manager Hyde is the most responsible for this rough start?
I think you can't fire Gunnar Henderson. You can't fire Adley Rutschman. I really do think that that poor lineup construction, poor pitcher management.
I don't think lineup construction matters as much as you do. I do think
just
get players in the lineup.
When I say lineup construction, I don't mean the order of players.
Right.
I
You mean
the
who's
actual
playing?
players and who's
Yeah.
playing.
Yeah, that's
And the
fair.
fact that for those first 2 weeks, while everyone was healthy and everyone was good, Brandon Hyde would still rest Jordan Westberg rather than let him play. He would still rest people and treat his bench players as if they're everyday players.
Yeah, he did move Cedric Mullins to the leadoff after being such a hot start. I thought that was a good move.
That was a good move. It took a little while, but Holiday is doing really well, and he will not move him out of that 9 slot until I think yesterday he did bump him up to 8th.
Yeah, I mean, Holiday is doing well relative to everybody else. He's not.
So, there's lots of struggles on this team.
Yeah.
But someone's got to take the fall, and that's going to have to be Brandon Hyde.
That's fine.
And
can we move on from
will
Hyde
we
now?
Be 17 on 11?
Okay.
No. But I think that without Hyde, I bet we'd be 500 ball.
Okay.
14 and 14, whatever that is.
Okay. Josh, you said your piece. Can you just let go of Hyde for the rest of the episode? Can you just not talk about Hyde anymore for the rest of the episode?
We'll
Can
see
you
how
do
the
that?
rest of this game goes.
We can revisit it next week.
We'll see how it goes. I'll try.
The other person that's been taking a lot of heat because we don't like to blame players is Mike Elias. Josh, how much he kind of put this lineup on the field. He didn't re-sign Santander. He didn't re-sign Corbin Burns. He got replacements with Tyler O'Neill, who's now on the injured list, and Charlie Morton, who has an ERA of about 50. How much blame does Mike Elias get for what's happening this season?
A good amount. Mike Elias is not off the hook. I do not mind his offensive moves. Where Mike Elias failed this team is to not go after a pitcher. And I know Mike Elias didn't know Grayson Rodriguez was going to be a dead man. Mike Elias didn't know Eflin was going to get hurt.
Josh, you can't. What GM out there anticipates their 1 and 2 starter not being there for the season?
I know.
Who anticipates that?
Saying,
your 1 and 2 starter.
I get that. And that's why I'm saying I can't be super mad at Mike Elias, but we lost Corbin Burns and we tried to replace him with Charlie Morton. Then we panicked and signed Kyle Gibson. I like Kyle Gibson as a number 5. The one thing I can say is my boy Saguna looks better every start. And he's on his pace for that Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
He just has to.
Josh, but the cash in that check.
Hyde's just got to let him get through 5 innings.
Yeah. Is it fair to give Mike Elias a pass because of the injuries? Also, in terms of the signing, Josh, it's hard to say that Charlie Morton, who's like never had an ERA over 4.5, like he's been consistently good every single year, consistently like average every single year. How can you anticipate he's going to blow up? The same with Dean Kramer. How do you anticipate Dean Kramer, who the past 3 years has been right around 4,
I agree.
that his ERA would ballooned over 7? How do you anticipate guys with good track records who just don't pitch well?
And I agree with all of that. But here's where Mike Elias loses me. It's been 4 weeks, and you haven't done anything. As soon as Grayson Rodriguez went down, you should have started making phone calls. We have pieces in the minors that we can still trade. As soon as Eflin went down, you should have made a phone call and say, hey, remember that player we talked about last week? I'm a little more serious now.
Josh, that's so stupid. You think you trade, so you trade Basayo or you trade Mayo.
No, I will not trade Basayo.
Okay, fine.
I'll trade Kobe Mayo. I'll trade Ryan Mountcastle. Not that he's any value.
Nobody wants Ryan Mountcastle. You trade Kobe Mayo, okay, Josh?
Yes.
And let's see you get a really good starter. And now all of a sudden you have a good starter. What you have 2 more wins and you lost one of your best hitting prospects? Like we are not 1 pitcher away. You think we're 1 pitcher away from being from winning the AL East right now?
No.
Did you trade a prospect for 1 pitcher?
All right, so you are in the role of just making excuses. And I told you, my main frustration with Mike Elias is that he did not replace Corbin Burns. And he did, but not really.
But Josh.
And I made all the excuses for him preseason.
You did. This sounds like a different person. In preseason, you were really optimistic.
I know.
You're singing a different tune.
No. And I said, we will be fine. We just have to get to May, June. These guys will hold us over until then. And then we've got Bradish and Wells coming back, and that'll get us through. and I felt good about that. My concern with Mike Elias is that he has not done anything as the wheels have continued to fall off the bus.
There's nothing you can do
Yes, you can.
in April.
There is something. For one, Kobe Mayo is really hot. He should come up. He should
Josh,
be brought
what,
up.
Josh,
That
go
machine
Madrid.
kid-
Go Madrid. Wait. Josh, what? Joe, stop. What is Kobe Mayo's batting average?
I don't know.
256, Josh. 256. I mean,
Yeah,
it's not like he's hitting 400.
Look, have you looked at the batting average of tonight's lineup?
Okay, 256 in AAA. Josh,
Okay.
I was depressed, so I was saying,
Yeah.
well, how about I look at the minors?
Yeah.
To
How
get
about
some
that machine
encouragement.
kid? How's the machine kid doing? He's doing really well too.
Yeah, at 40. But Basayo hitting 230. Jude Fabian hitting 190. Mayo is the best hitter at Norfolk at 256. And then I said,
Here's
well, maybe things get better. Enrique Bradfield. Oh, he's hitting 389. Where did he go, Enrique Bradfield?
What I like
he
that
hasn't
Elias
played
did.
since April 5th. Yeah, go ahead.
What I like that Elias did make one move that I like. He brought up Brandon Young, who I think is a decent back of the end pitcher and kind of all we have right now. And he brought him up in desperation, but I think he looked a lot better his second start. And I like what I see out of Brandon Young.
I don't understand how Dylan Carlson and Emmanuel Rivera are on this team. We were talking at the beginning of the season.
Exactly.
Is there going to be room for Mateo and Arias? And now I'm looking here on April 29th and Emmanuel Rivera and Dylan Carlson's on this team.
That's my point. And Kerstead, why is Kerstead on the bench? He should be out there playing every single day.
Well, maybe if he can hit better than 180, he could play more.
Well, maybe he needs consistency. So how do we fix this team?
Listen.
And you look, Mike Elias will win. I will praise Mike Elias left and right if he will fire Brandon Hyde.
I mean, Josh,
that's what he could do.
Yeah, and listen, if you lose, you go after managers and then you go after GMs. I get it, but just on paper, I feel like Mike Elias. It's been unfortunate for him. Because of the injury, your top two starters get hurt. It's hard to replace your top two starters. And then all of a sudden, Dean Kramer and Charlie Morton and today Kyle Gibson just completely forgot how to pitch when they have good track records of pitching well. You combine that with an inexplicable struggles offensively from all of your stars, right? Gunnar, Westy, Adley, go down the list.
Right.
Besides, if your name's not Cedric Mullins or Ryan O'Hearn, you stink. And it's hard for me to blame a GM when you put together this team of stud prospects, stud young players, and they all stink. I mean, the two veterans, O'Hearn and Cedric, are the only players who are playing well. All your studs that you drafted and put all this stock in this year, they stink. So my blame, Josh, is that I know I'm making excuses for our lives, but my blame is with Gunnar and Adley.
But here's the problem.
They need to play.
You blame the players.
Yes.
What are the chances that all the players do bad? What are the players if everyone is that bad on the team that they're all sucking? Is it the trainer? Are they being fed wrong? Is it the food? Are there too many Uncrustables in the locker room? Is it too many Lego sets? Something has infected the team. How can you say that you have all these stars, all these people, and the world they're all busts? You're saying, oh well, you can't
what you're saying, Josh,
you can't blame Elias because Gunnar sucks, Adley sucks, Jackson Holiday sucks, Mateo sucks.
Don't forget Kerstead, my boy Kerstead.
Kerstead sucks. Like they all just suck, and your answer is, well, you can't blame anyone. It's just bad luck.
No, it's not bad luck. I blame the players. You're saying, Josh, that you blame manager Hyde. Gunnar Henderson was an MVP candidate last year, and who was the manager? Manager Hyde.
Right.
Josh,
no.
You can argue, and I think successfully, that Hyde can't win the big game because he hasn't won any big games. But
and that's
this idea that he can't coach up his players and the players don't play well for him. They played well 2 years ago for him. They played well last year for him. They're just not playing well this year.
I don't think manager Hyde can motivate players. I think they played well for each other. And I think manager Hyde.
What do you want, a cheerleader, Josh? You want a cheerleader in the dugout? Rah-rah? Is that what you want?
That's the manager's role. The manager's job is to support his players, to put his players in the best place to win, to motivate his players, to build up his players, and to manage pitching staff. And
No.
that's everything this team is doing wrong. So either
Adley Rutschman doesn't need a cheerleader. That's not.
no. You know what Adley Rutschman needs?
What, a
To be able to
girlfriend?
play behind the plate
A girlfriend,
every day.
probably. A girlfriend. Oh, no, go ahead.
No, right. Well, no, that might be the
A
problem.
girlfriend to encourage him.
He might have found a new girl. No, what Adley needs is to be behind the plate every day. That's what he needs.
Okay, well, he's got his wish because now I don't think they're going to play this Hanley guy.
Hanley's playing half the game tonight.
Well, yeah, after the game got out of hand. And that's when he should only play when there's a double-digit lead or deficit.
Is this the curse of Dave Rubenstein?
How much blame does Rubenstein have for not handing out any money at all? Yet he gets a bobblehead.
I know. He gets his own bobblehead.
Yeah. Do you think they should do a manager Hyde bobblehead next?
So, have you seen anyone make it all about themselves since Steve Cohen?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's made it all about himself, but
I don't think he has. His own bobblehead is slightly a bad look for you.
It's bad timing. It's bad timing.
Bad timing.
Do that after you win something.
Yes.
Or sign somebody.
Yes. All right, look, the bobblehead is him tossing out hats. How much cooler would this bobblehead be if it was him sitting at a desk with Gunnar Henderson next to him signing an extension? That's the bobblehead I want.
Yeah, but Josh, here's what I wonder about.
Well, as long as Gunnar doesn't suck, as you've said.
That's what I'm saying is how much of this, like, it makes you question everything. It makes you question, like, do we want to sign Adley to an extension? Do we want to sign Gunnar to an extension? There was a guy that was can't miss in our eyes, and in terms of character and of player, and that's Jordan Westberg. But now all of a sudden you're like, he's not hitting either.
Jordan Westberg. Yeah, my biggest problem with Jordan Westberg is health now. He seems to keep getting hurt.
All right, Josh. So let's go down the roster. All the guys are struggling, and I want to know bad start or bad player. Okay.
Okay.
Bad start or bad player.
How about? All right, fine. Go.
Let's start with an easy one. Jordan Westberg. Bad start or bad player? Batting 217, 4 home runs, 22 strikeouts, 5 walks.
You're not going to like my answer.
Yeah.
You're not going to like my answer because I'm going to say bad luck. Bad luck for Jordan.
Okay.
Because he's gotten banged up, he's gotten hurt, and he has hit some of the hardest balls that the second baseman or shortstop just happens to grab.
Okay.
So
that's
go
fine.
With bad luck.
Okay. What about Gunnar Henderson batting 218? Only an OBP of 261. Only has 2 home runs in 87 at bats.
He got another one tonight.
Okay. Is that, I don't know, is that 2 or 3?
I don't know if that's 2
I don't know how
or 3.
fast it's
I don't know.
MLB.com calculates this.
That might have been number 2. I will say bad start. I
refreshed my page. He now has 3. He has 3 now. I refreshed my page.
I would say MLB The Show jinx.
Okay, MLB Show jinx. All right, that's fair. All right, here's a tricky one, Josh. Ryan Mountcastle, batting 191, only has 1 home run for a power hitting first baseman.
Bad.
He's bad.
He's bad.
Yeah. At what point do you move on from Mountie?
I really think you ruined Mountcastle's career when you moved the wall. I think it affected him mentally, and it affected his swing, and you destroyed his career. So I'm ready to move on from Mountcastle.
Yeah. I mean, even
if only we had a guy in AAA that could play first base.
Yeah. I mean, last year his numbers were good. I mean, he had 30 home runs last year. Yeah. He's consistently batted, you know.
He didn't have 30 last year, did he? He didn't have 30 last year.
I'm sorry, no, he didn't have 30. That
was before we moved the wall.
Yeah, that
Look
was
at his numbers since we moved the wall. It goes boom.
I was looking at doubles. That didn't make sense.
Yes.
He had 13 home runs last year. That's more like it.
And how many
the year before? 18.
And before that?
22.
And before that?
33.
And what happened? What happened between 33 and 22?
Yeah, but look at that. Look at that regression from a power hitting first baseman, 33, and that was kind of his first full season with the Orioles, to 22, 18, 13.
Now,
and this year 1.
Yeah, and that's my argument is that his home runs became flyouts, and then he tried to adjust and mentally tried to go opposite field, try to hit doubles, and he can't do it.
Yeah.
So
at some point,
it's time for him to go.
It feels like a natural
with a change of scenery. but he can't play in Camden Yards anymore.
Yeah, this feels like a natural hand it over to Kobe Mayo when Kobe Mayo's ready
It does.
at some point this year. That's going to happen.
Yeah, not Riviera or whatever that started today.
Yeah, I know. And there's so many things to be mad about. I think if we weren't so mad about the losing and all the other stuff, people would be more mad that Kobe Mayo is not playing first instead of Rivera. But
correct.
We have other things to be mad about. I want to get to a couple more guys. I'm saving the best for last. But let's go. Heston Kjerstad, bad start or bad player?
I don't think he's gotten enough opportunity.
Here's the rough stat with Heston, Josh.
Yes.
He's batting 186. But what's even rougher, 23 strikeouts to 1 walk in just 70 at-bats.
All right, bad player. Bad player. I know you hate to hear it. But he might be a major league bust.
All right,
Triple A All-Star, major league bust.
Yeah. Here's I think the most intriguing one. Saving the best for last. We have a larger sample than Heston Kjerstad. Heston Kjerstad's not fair. It's not a large enough sample size. But we have a good enough sample size for this guy, I think.
Okay.
Adley Rutschman, batting 208 this year. Everyone said this offseason he's in better shape. He's more focused.
Yes. He broke up with his girlfriend.
He's not on TikTok. The walks and strikeouts are better. He's 18 strikeouts to 15 walks. His OBP is over 300, but he's still only batting 208. 4 home runs, only 2 doubles.
I'm going to go bad start just because he has a little bit more of a track record.
Second half of last year was rough too.
I know. I'm going to go with bad start. I'm not ready to give up on Adley yet.
Okay.
Oh, and the Yankees had another home run off Brian Baker, who's had a decent year. Brian Baker's been kind of a bright spot in the bullpen.
Yeah, there's been some bright spots. I mean, the bullpen too. It's just,
and you know what?
Bizarre.
That ball would not have been a home run if we didn't move the wall this year.
Blame it on that. All right. That's it. I think the thing that gets really depressing is if you think Adley Rutschman maybe is not good, if Heston Kjerstad maybe is not good. If you start thinking about these players are not just off to bad starts, but not good players, that can get real depressing real quick on kind of the opposite side of things.
Before we get out of here, let's try to have a little bit of positivity. Who have you seen positive things of this year?
Oh, I mean, the answer is, I mentioned it before, Ryan O'Hearn and Cedric Mullins.
And Ramon Urias.
Yeah. But the Cedric Mullins thing, I think, is really noteworthy because, Josh, at the beginning of the year, you were ready to replace him with Colton Cowser in center, and you were ready to run off Cedric Mullins.
I was.
And and with good reason. I mean, the past couple of years, he hasn't looked good. I mean, he had that year, in 2021, where he was amazing, and then kind of has struggled since then. Still good defensively, but struggled offensively.
Right.
This year, so far, he's putting up the best offensive performance of his career. And he has been, I mean, it's scary to think about what our record would be without Cedric Mullins. And he seems to have good plate appearance after good plate appearance after good plate appearance. So, and they had that great defensive catch, robbed a home run yesterday. So, yes, Cedric Mullins to me is the huge bright spot.
Yeah. Well, and
Ryan O'Hearn, people are ready to run Ryan O'Hearn out of town too. And he's responded really well as well.
Yeah.
Interesting, the 2 veterans are off to the best starts.
Yes.
Even Ramon Urias is a veteran.
And I'm going to put another guy in there.
Okay.
I think that a bright spot so far this season has been Jackson Holliday. After his miserable time last year, he's got a what's his batting average right now? 237. But for the past week, it's been 333. He's been improving. He's got 2 home runs.
He's been good defensively.
He's been good defensively. So I am happy with Jackson Holliday.
All right. And then if you look at it from the other side of the ball, the pitching, I mean, you mentioned
Baker.
Baker, Saguna has been
yes.
Has been really good.
And Batista.
He looks better every time out. He does. He looks good.
Yeah, that's the thing that I'm seeing with Saguna too. Is every start he's looking better. And I feel like I keep seeing improvements on Cade Povich. As still just a young guy.
Yeah.
I know he's got an ERA in the 5s.
Yeah.
But I feel like he's building on that every start. So I'm
Yeah,
happy with him.
Yeah, I'm good with Kid Povich. I mean, the back of our end of our bullpen, I think, has been good. I mean, Yadier Cano still has an ERA of 0, and he's been really good.
That's true.
Sir Anthony Dominguez has been good too. So I think the back end of our bullpen has been good. I mean, Perez has been terrible. But if we can get in the 7th and 8th inning, Soto, I know, had a rough outing yesterday, but he's been good for the most part.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. And that's why I started this with I'm not too worried about the pitching. They have bad days.
Okay.
But they're not losing as many games as the offense.
Okay. That's fine. That's fine. It's not the pitching the problem. It's the pitching usage by manager Hyde that's a problem.
Yeah. Mr. 4 2/3.
Yeah. All right.
It's been a tough month of Orioles baseball.
Yeah, but hey, listen, we started the show with this, and I agree. Like Sass and I, we're pumped to go to Baltimore. We're pumped to watch. Too. We got tickets on Friday if my flight gets there on time at the home run porch.
I looked those up. Those are some prime location for Silas if the Orioles hit the long ball. If the Orioles can hit some home runs, it's a great spot for some TV time for Silas.
Okay.
And maybe a chance to catch a ball and get in that little kid area thing.
Yeah. I'm hoping maybe for a Bobby Witt home run or something. I don't know about the Orioles, but we'll get some Orioles home runs.
Turn it around by then.
Yeah. And then, yeah. So it's going to be a great weekend. Then we're going to go Saturday. So Josh, do you remember this? Have you ever been to, or do you remember visiting the Babe Ruth Hall of Fame? Or the Babe Ruth, I'm not Hall of Fame, the Babe Ruth Museum in Baltimore?
Yeah, it's been in a few locations. I went when it was in like his childhood home.
Yes, yeah. Well, we went there when we were kids.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyways, Sass was reading about it, and he's excited to go visit it. I was trying to dampen expectations because I don't think it's a very, it's a small museum.
Yeah, I think it's improved since we were kids.
Okay. So we're gonna go there on Saturday afternoon.
That's cool.
Yeah, as well.
I've got a Michael Mayer event in Herndon, Virginia on Saturday night, but I am looking forward to going to the games on Friday and Sunday. Sunday we're way up in the upper deck because apparently it's like these are sold out games thanks to bobbleheads.
Yeah, I know, and I was it was weird on I got Friday's tickets in that front row on the home run porch, but they were more expensive on all the StubHub and all that. I went right from the Orioles.com and they had 2 seats available or 3 seats available for us. So I looked out in that. And the kids cheer free. That's what we're doing on Saturday. The kids cheer free and you get 2 tickets for the price of 1. Yeah. That's still a good deal. Props to Camden Yards and props to Orioles for still doing the kids cheer free thing.
Now I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
I went to rent a car.
I spent hours researching renting cars. So
all right.
I got ripped off one time. I said never again.
All right.
And so I do a ton of research.
The cheapest car I fly into Dulles because I'm going up for the Virginia event and I'm not paying for my travel. So it's for that event and I'm driving up. The cheapest car at the airport to rent is a Tesla, which I don't mind. I like Teslas.
You've driven Teslas before, sure. Yeah,
I have. Here's my question. Can I charge it at the stadium?
Oh, I thought your question was, will people vandalize it if I park it?
Well, I chose I did think, I better get their insurance in case I get keyed.
Yeah. Always take a video of your car before you pull it out of the parking lot. No, don't they have those charging stations right where we park in the BC lot? Oh, I guess you won't have that parking pass.
Well, that's my question. Do I have to pay for a special parking lot to get to be able to park and charge? Because I like the idea of just charging and not having to pay for gas or whatever.
Yeah.
I like that. So maybe a listener can help me out there. And
I know they have the stations in the lots, but I don't know, how that works.
I use them. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I assume my hotel has a charging station. I think all hotels do now. So, but I'm going to call them and check because I don't want to be like, oh, now I got to sit at this Wawa for an hour while all my car charges.
Yeah. I mean, you could pull it up into my hotel and charge it there, maybe if they have a charger.
Yes, but you're not going to your hotel until after the game.
Well, we got to drop our bags there before the game, so
No, you leave them in your. You're not renting a car.
no
How are you getting from the airport to the stadium?
light rail.
Okay. All right. I hope the Orioles aren't losing 7-0 when you walk into the stadium.
It's possible. It's possible the way this season's
You're taking
gone.
the light rail?
Yeah, it's 30 minutes.
What stadium are you staying? What hotel are you staying at?
At Marriott downtown.
That by the light rail? Where's that?
I don't know, but I mean it's within walking distance of Camden Yards. It's right downtown.
Okay. All right.
I had a freak out moment, Josh. I had a freak out moment the other day because Emily asked what time my flight was returning on Sunday.
Yes.
And I couldn't find
did you forget
the confirmation or email. I was like, I never got the tickets. Finally, I found it. For some reason, it went right into my spam folder. And like I tried to log onto the website, but I never make accounts. I just signed in as guests. So it doesn't track it.
All right. So we're going to Sunday's game. What time do you fly out?
I think 6. So I'm not going to be able to do kids run the bases afterwards.
Okay. All right. I don't think. What do they recommend? 2 hours?
I'm more of an hour kind of guy.
3 hours?
An hour.
An hour? All right.
Yeah.
All right. I will see you by the 3rd inning.
Yeah. I know you don't like my traveling plans.
If I find a spot to charge my Tesla, I will give you a heads up so you can just throw your bags in there and not have to.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That'd be helpful if you do find a spot to park that car.
So
let me know. Throw bags
I'll
in
let
there.
you know.
All right. That would save me a little bit of time.
But yes, I am looking forward to seeing some Orioles baseball in person. I really missed not going to opening day this year.
Yeah.
And
this would be your first trip, right, to Camden Yards this season?
Will be.
Yeah, mine too. Yeah.
So at least a bobblehead weekend will have that same opening weekend excitement.
Are we expecting sellouts every game?
I think so, because at least Friday and
Sunday are the bobbleheads. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, side note, I hate Star Wars. And everything is Star Wars.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, I don't mind Star Wars, but I'm not a huge Star Wars guy.
So we'll see how that goes. If this team continues to lose, is Thursday an off day?
I think so. Yeah, I don't know.
That would make sense unless this is a 4-game series. If this team continues to lose, is there then booing on Friday?
I think the only scenario where there's booing is if.
All right, yes, off day Friday. So we've got the Yankees. We got one more game after this abysmal loss.
Yeah, I mean, you come back, you beat the Yankees tomorrow, which I'm sure will happen. I think people are amped up on Friday.
Hey, let's make a bet.
Yeah.
Orioles lose tomorrow. Does Brandon Hyde get fired on Thursday?
No, I don't think Brandon Hyde. I mean, I don't know much about Mike Elias hiring and firing practices, but I mean, he did. He kind of cleaned house in the offseason with some coaching staff positions.
Yes.
No, I think he wasted.
Get fired before Friday.
No.
Okay.
But Josh,
are signs allowed in the stadium? Because we're in prime sign location.
On Friday, yeah, we are.
Can I take
easy,
a
Josh.
Fire Hyde sign?
Please don't get us kicked out of the stadium.
Well, no, that's why I'm asking ahead of time. Is it allowed?
Well, I think it matters what's on your sign. You can say "Happy birthday," hit it here, or "I love Chris Davis" or something. But I don't think you can fire. I don't think you can have a sign that says "Fire Hyde."
I will say, "It's my birthday. All I want for my birthday is a new manager." How about that?
Yeah.
Can I go with that?
Yeah. Maybe if you have one side that's a positive message and the other side says the Fire Hyde part, then you can just flip it around when the Jumbotron's on you. That's what you got to wait till the Jumbotron shines on you and then flip it around.
All right. New plan. Matt, I'm going to write fire on my chest. You're going to write Hyde on your chest. And when the Jumbotron comes around,
and
we
Sal's
just
can do an exclamation mark. Sure.
Yes, exactly. That's how we'll sneak it in.
Yeah. Hey, Josh, do you know what the Orioles playoff odds are right now to make the playoffs?
Don't do this to me. What is it?
But just like part of me is like, it's just freaking April, people. It's
I know.
162 games. Let's all calm down for a second. It's April.
Do you know how many wins we're on pace for?
60.
60.
According to Fangraphs, 78.
We're not on pace for 78 wins.
Well, no, that's projected.
Yeah, we're on pace for 60. I did the math. It's easy math.
Okay, that's fine. It's 14%. No, it's 18% to make the playoffs.
15-3 loss. Good news is the Orioles got 3 hits and 3 runs. So everyone that hit the ball scored.
All right.
Let's get out of here. You're depressing me.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have. I mean, we still have an 18% chance to make it. That's positive. It's not 0.
What was our chances a month ago?
I don't know. Probably over 50.
Oh, it's ugly.
All
and
right.
it doesn't help that the Yankees are just clobbering the ball.
Yeah, well, if we had those same torpedo bats, we'd be clapping the ball too, right?
I don't think it's the bats anymore.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. What can you give Charlie Morton? A torpedo? The bat won't help him.
Can we flatten
a torpedo
out the baseball?
ball? Yeah. And redesign the baseball just for him. All right, boys and girls. Thanks for listening. Even if the Orioles are bad, we're still here for you most weeks.
We've been through many losing seasons.
That's right. That's right. We will help you through this rough time. We've been here before. We will talk you through it. It is okay, Birdland. We will get through this together. You can follow us on all your social media platforms. If you haven't, go ahead and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, write us a review. Josh, we have any tickets left for Sunday if they want to join us on Sunday?
I don't, but if you send me a message, I will try to find some tickets around us.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, you can follow me on social media. You can follow me on X at Section336. You follow Josh on X
at Josh Soroka, and definitely tag us on social media or message us if you're going to the game on Friday or Sunday, because even if you're not seated with us, we can meet up.
Yeah, it'd be fun to say hi. All right, boys and girls, thanks for listening. And as always, go O's.
Fire Manager Hyde.
There it is.